future and deepen the prosperity of our souls together.
Hi everyone, welcome to Soul Snacks. This episode, we have a very special guest with us, and she is an amazing woman. She happens to be my sister-in-law, but she's so many other things to me. She's a wonderful human. She's an amazing HR consultant. She's an amazing mom. She's an amazing wife, and she's an amazing sister-in-law. I'm so honored to have Seun Adewumi join us on Soul Snacks today. Welcome to Soul Snacks.
Thank you, Vicky. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for honoring the invitation. Such a pleasure to have you. Today we're going to be talking about work, employment, other forms of work, not just in a formal employment, a job, 9-to-5 job. But research shows that the average person actually spends about a third of their life at work. Yeah, if you didn't know that, a human being spends at work a third of your life. That's a lot of time that we spend at work. So we're going to be discussing the relationship between employment, work, and the well-being of our souls on Soul Snacks today. Seun, being an HR consultant, she works with so many unemployed people, trying to get them into not just any kind of work, but the right kind of work for them. Helping them, linking them up to recruiters, linking them up to organizations, to people who need their skills, who can pay them for their skills. So she's doing brilliant work across the world, in Africa and across the world. Seun, please, can you speak to the state of being unemployed? Because there's so many people who find themselves in involuntary unemployment. So it's not their own choice, but they're in unemployment. I've been there before myself. It's not a great place to be. And there are people who find themselves in that position. So could you please speak to anyone who finds themselves in that position right now on how they can cope, how they can manage their well-being in this season of unemployment?
Okay, thank you again, Vicky. It's such a pleasure to be here. Okay, so the different seasons in life, it's very important to recognize that there are different seasons in life. Yeah. And being unemployed at the moment is a temporary situation. It's important to recognize that there are people who've worked for 10, 15 years who end up being redundant or unemployed at some point as well. True. So it's not just graduate trainees who are unemployed, right? So this message is literally for anybody who's unemployed at the moment. Pace yourself. Obviously, there are the challenges of finances. You have to pay your bills, but pace yourself. It's a time to also develop yourself, right? If you're unemployed, it's a season and it's short term, but it's important to spend your time wisely. So identify what your strengths are. List them out and use this time to sort of develop yourself, network more, attend networking events, get mentors and engage them. Go on LinkedIn and look at profiles of people who you're aspiring to sort of build a career in the field that they progress to, and sort of identify skills and professional trainings that you can also, develop yourself in. Right, and then more importantly, don't lose your self-confidence. Prepare for interviews. If you fail an interview, it's a learning point, it's a learning curve. Every interview experience is a learning curve. So even if you don't pass interviews, go back, think through the questions that they've asked you, and then keep developing yourself. Don't stop developing yourself. In the process of trying to build your self-brand, developing yourself, opportunities will come, right? So it's a season, and it's a temporary season, and that's how I see it.
Wow, thank you so much for that insightful response. I think the first thing she mentioned is so key about understanding that it's a season. So if it's a season, that means that it has an expiry date. That means it's not going to be like this forever. Understanding that mindset, having that mindset actually literally changes every single thing that you do afterwards. Understanding that it won't always be like that affects everything that you do afterwards, how you use your time, how you apply yourself, how you network, how you carry yourself with confidence, all the points you mentioned. Understanding that it's a season That's amazing, amazing. So now moving on to some other factors that can affect one's well-being with regards to employment. So like your financial reward at work, maybe the working environment, maybe the manager you have or the leader you have or your team lead or something like that. Other factors as well. So what are some of the factors that you think are more likely to affect someone's well-being in terms of their employment or the kind of job that they have?
Several factors can affect your well-being. You've mentioned some of them. Having a good manager, having a good work culture. I mean, you don't. If you work in an environment that's toxic, it could affect your well-being. But sometimes, even if you work in an organization with great culture, you could have personal, family circumstances as well that can affect your well-being. So from having a good manager will help you. If you have a bad manager, it could affect you. Even if your manager is great, but you're on a team where you're not well accepted, you're different, or you feel different, it can affect you. If you're an underperformer, so you're a great persona, but you're not doing well at your job, it could also affect you. And then again, it comes back to self-development and how you choose to adjust, and adapt, because your mental health is important, right? So from the sort of team that you work, the culture of the organization, and it's important to mention at this point, Buki, that finances are not the only criteria to go in for a job. You must also ensure that the culture of the organization aligns with your personal values, right? So
that's true.
If your personal values are completely different from the values and culture of the business, you could be making a lot of money but be really sad, and unhappy.
That's true. Okay, but how do you understand or get to know the culture of the organization before you actually get employed? How do you get to know? Okay, so
we're now in a digital age, right? So technology has made it easier. Now a lot of employees are outspoken. The next generation speak. You go online and check. All you need to do is Google the organization. You see different people making comments and identifying, saying what their experience was working in a place. And then you also need to actually do your research, right? And engage, your potential manager as well, and ask them questions. I'd like to join. Here's the culture of where I currently work, and I was just wondering, would your organization afford me? Obviously, not be proud, but if you're humble and you engage and clarify, most people will tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I had no idea I could do that.
Okay. I mean, clearly not everybody will be honest, and there are some things that nobody will disclose until you've actually resumed.
True.
You have your probation period, right, to also decide. You have your first 6 months probation period. So if you've kicked off and you've seen that it's not working, it would be a good time to look for alternative options.
Okay, wow, amazing. So in a situation where someone has now secured a job, but they're not quite sure about the culture, they're not really sure if it's serving them, how would you recommend that they go about either maybe looking for a different team? So the problem could be with their team, for example, or maybe just the culture of the organization and they want to move to a different organization. How would you recommend, are there any ways that are the preferred ways to go about it? Can they just quit their job and then start applying for other jobs, or is it better for them to actually secure something, maybe network with a few people? What are some of the ways that you found work best? Because some people, the environment is so toxic that I've had friends who have worked in, even me myself, I've worked in environments where it's so toxic that I can't imagine the next 6 months in this organization, and I haven't gotten another job. So I had to make some drastic, tough decisions, bold, fearless decisions, trusting that something else will happen, but very risky too, very high risk. So, I guess it's personal, depending on what you can afford to do or the decisions you can afford to take. But from your experience of dealing with different candidates and dealing with different professionals, have you found maybe a few methods that could work, that you could recommend for someone who is in that kind of situation? Okay, so first things first, I'll say it's a personal decision. You must look at your personal circumstance, right? True. If you're, a single parent with children who must go to school and eat,
you would obviously have to balance it out, you know. So it's personal and it's different. If you have savings that you think you can play around with in the meantime, again, it's personal and different.
True.
And you must look at your personal circumstance
That's
before
true.
you make those type of decisions, right? But certainly it just works differently for different people. It's always important to have savings so that even if the environment is not toxic and you're laid off, you're able to sustain your personal life and your family. That being said, it could be your team that's toxic and not the entire organization, right? Or maybe you're just not the right fit for the team. In that case, you could possibly see if it's possible to speak to your internal HR if you are qualified or you're looking into another sort of career path that's different from where you're at. Because sometimes your team is great, but you're just not really the right fit at that point, right? So if it's possible to change your department within the same organization, go ahead. If not, it's always better to find something else before you resign your job. It reduces the anxiety of searching, because you could be searching for another year and not find anything, right? So it's always better to find something else. Even if it doesn't pay as high, even if you have to take a pay cut, it's better to find something else and you're still busy in employment than to take the decision to just resign altogether. And then it's too much uncertainty and it's a risk to take. However, if your environment is extremely toxic and you have good support system, so you have a great family to support you, and it's really toxic, it's affecting your mental health, please resign. Take a step back, you know, and regenerate, right? Because they say there's no health without mental health. So so it's important that you're fit to be able to work. But if it's a situation that you can still manage, always better to find something else. And it's easier to actually get interviews when it shows that you're in
just
employment.
Still in employment.
Interviewer, you know, some organizations might begin to think, oh, this person, they're ready to leave their work, they'll easily want to walk away, you know. So it's easy to get a wrong impression when you're able to easily walk away from your employment when you don't have something else. So if you can, again, your personal circumstances is important to consider. If you can, find something else and then resign. And if you can endure, sometimes it's just one manager in the entire organization that has issues.
That's true.
You know, I've seen cases where people have to escalate their line manager to HR, you know, for issues, and the line manager actually gets queried. I mean, we're not encouraging to go and report to your line managers, but if there's actually a case, sometimes you only just need to escalate it and you...
Oh, wow. Brilliant. Thank you so much for all these insights. Amazing, amazing. So if you were to list a few ways that people can increase or improve their job satisfaction, so they don't really, maybe they don't really love the job as much, or maybe they like it, they'll rate it maybe like a 5 over 10. Are there any practical ways that on that same job they can increase their job satisfaction, do you think, that you found?
I think so, and I'll use myself as a personal example.
Okay.
I had joined a role at some point in my career where I had a completely different expectation from what I found when I joined. I was working with a manager who was not interested in assigning roles, right? Okay. Or he was assigning me jobs that were more mundane, if I would say. I mean, I felt like I had gone past that stage in my career, and he was assigning roles to me that were too easy, quote unquote, you know, that were quote unquote a no-brainer, right? And what I did was I sort of gave myself work. So I would go online, so I worked on several other projects, and all of those experiences have helped me today. They've all added up to my current, you know, to the current knowledge that I have. They were not even in HR, all of these things I'm talking about. They were completely different. Some were with engagement, some were in business development, some were with having to engage, you know, external stakeholders. But they've all sort of added up into my entrepreneurship journey. So yeah, don't just, identify your strengths, identify what makes you happy, what you enjoy, and begin to look for ways you can embed it into your current role, right? And then again, it's important to pay it forward. If you're already mid-level, identify someone else who's more junior and start to mentor them at work. That gives you job fulfillment, right? It gives you job fulfillment, it gives you job satisfaction, and it's amazing to just watch someone nurture from maybe a trainee to actually someone with more knowledge and able to pay it forward. So just identify what works for you and then start to build on it gradually. And sometimes it could even mean volunteering into different areas outside of work. You know, they're helping to build your profession. There are many people who are speakers who got, you know, they work 9 to 5, but they speak over the weekend. Some of them lecture part-time, you know, on professional courses. Just identify what it is that you're more passionate about. And somehow it will fit into your excitement. The knowledge you've acquired, you can then bring it back into work. You know, and there's something we call critical thinking and adaptability. As you progress, it's not enough to be skilled.
Absolutely.
It's not enough to just be skilled in, for example, engineering or IT. There are some general skills that are important to have. So the more versatile you are, the more relevant you will be in the future of work. So, yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Well done. Amazing answer. I love that. So many gems, so many snacks for you to take from all that she has said. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Can I ask you, what are the top 3 things, if you were to list the top 3 things that have shaped you intrinsically from the inside out into the woman that you are today? So right from childhood, whatever it is, the top 3 things that have shaped you into the woman, the amazing woman that you are today. What will those top 3 things be?
You know, it's so tough to actually be able to mention 3.
You can mention 5.
But I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try and leave it on the 5 because it's a collection of different things. And again, with your childhood, you don't even realize that your childhood, sort of influences you until you're grown up. But first things first, I would say my relationship with God. I'm a Christian. My relationship with God, has helped me in terms of helping me stay grounded in my values and all the many other factors that sort of formed my character. Certainly my background, I mean, the opportunity to have gotten good education as well, good home training. My background also has influenced the sort of person I am today. Thirdly, I would say my mentors. I've been privileged to have really amazing mentors who from my teenage years have sort of been in my life and have sort of guided me into, I mean, maybe errors I could have made and I would have recovered from. They've sort of guided me into avoiding them in the first place. But it's important to listen. It's not enough to have mentors, you listen to them. So having mentors that you regard and respect enough to actually take on their advice. So the mentors that I've had, and my social circle. I've also been privileged to have great, amazing people in my corner. So my social circle as well, the sort of people in my circle, the people you interact with, because again, what you listen to regularly makes a huge difference, right? In your mindset, and then just and the value that you're able to add. So my relationship with God, my family background, my mentors, and then my social circle. All of those things they've all added up. I mean, the 1,001 other things, education, the ability to also be interested in even reading. Reading has also helped me. Researching and reading and being willing to learn has made a huge difference as well. So there's several factors that has helped, but those are just a few.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, just before we round off, you spoke about confidence earlier. And I found that not everyone can mask confidence at the workplace, particularly if you don't feel that you're good enough yet, or if you feel that maybe you still have quite a steep learning curve to overcome, or maybe this is a new area for you, a new industry, a new job, things like that. So do you have any tips for people, even for me? Like, there are times you've done so well in an organization, you move to a new organization, and it's like you have to give yourself pep talks, when you're going for meetings, because this is new. These are new people that you have to prove yourself to, Do you have any tips for helping us build confidence at work?
First things first, be yourself. That's the first thing. People see through you when you're not sure. Be yourself. And secondly, I don't think anybody's looking for talent that has everything all figured out. We're all work in progress. right?
True.
So be yourself, recognize that you're a work in progress. You'll be shocked, even the multi-millionaires still have to over-prepare for presentations or public speaking engagements.
Wow.
Right? They just don't tell you, but I mean, if you sat on the table one-on-one, they'll tell you, how do you realize I was nervous?
Wow.
And then people always have something to learn from you. You'll be amazed that you've researched and mentioned stuff that your manager didn't know. I've had meetings or interviews where I'm engaging a candidate and they mentioned a term I haven't heard before, and I scribble down and go and research, you know, afterwards. So I've learned from that candidate, right? So be yourself. As long as you've recognized that you're in a culture that you know that's suitable, or that you're a right fit for that organization, pace yourself, be yourself, ask questions. During your onboarding process, that's the right time to ask all the questions. So it helps you understand the mode of operation in that environment, right? Don't be ashamed to have one-on-ones with people who have been there longer than you, right? So it's okay to say, oh, hi, I'm new, you know, I'd like to just can we catch up? Ask them questions, identify what we call a buddy. So one person who's been friendly to you, who you can, you know, engage regularly to say, oh, I have this task, is you okay? Can you review them on my behalf? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, can you please review on my behalf? Let them support you in reviewing a couple of times. And then obviously you don't want to be over dependent as well, but it's just for short duration of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, also engage your manager even if they're not engaging you. So engage your manager, call for meetings. But more importantly, think through tasks. So a task is delegated to you. Don't just come asking questions that are obviously on the document. So it's important that you also show that you are relevant and you know what you're doing, right? You begin to earn your seat at the table when you show that you're competent, right? And you're confident. So if you have to read, you have to read some extra. If you need to go through all the policies and the procedures within department, do your homework and prepare yourself, right? And then identify a mentor, identify a buddy within the business who you can engage regularly, and then take it from there. And then as you progress, you begin to also get more comfortable, more settled, and develop as many relationships as you can
within the organization.
Yes, develop as much professional relationships.
Okay.
I kid you not, I've had a work career for about 14 years, and I still have a personal relationship with every single manager.
Wow, till
now. In fact,
yes,
80% of my managers are my clients.
Wow.
Yeah, relationships. I mean, I've left the organization, I'm not leaving you. I'm adding you up on LinkedIn, I'm checking on you and your family and your birthday, I'm still sending you a gift.
Oh, wow.
And I've had managers who have recommended me for other jobs, right? So developing relationships is really critical, and sustaining them. The more more familiar you are with people in the room, the more comfortable and confident you'll get as well. And be open to take critical feedback. You know, when you get criticized, don't withdraw in your shell. Be open to accept the feedback. Go and work on what it is that, you know, the feedback that they've given you, and then so that you can improve. Do your research. When you know that your quality of work is great, you start to build more confidence. So do your research. If you need to engage somebody outside of the organization to help you review your work, ask them to, you know, so that when you're presenting work to your director or manager, you know that you're presenting top-notch quality work. Right, you know, and then be happy and open to accept the feedback, and more importantly, don't do the same thing next time, you know. And then over time, you gradually settle and adjust into the business culture.
Wow. So many snacks and nuggets. Thank you so much. As we round off, the final question, you're a mom of 3, you're an HR consultant, you run your own business, you have so many different clients that you consult for, you are an amazing wife, you have so many friends, like I look at you and you seem to have a well-rounded life. You know how to have time for yourself, time for your friends, time for your husband, time for your children. I love it, and it's really beautiful to watch, I must tell you.
Thank you.
Can I ask, what are the 3 top things that you do for fun? Either for fun or to recharge your soul, because you're so busy, you're pulled in so many different directions. Either for fun or to recharge your soul. 3 things.
Oh, interesting. 3 things. I spend a lot of time at the spa. Yes. I mean,
okay.
maybe the average person spends 1 hour. I do 2 to 3 hours at the spa.
Wow.
Is
that every week?
No, every month.
Every month.
Wow,
I want to be like you.
Those are the things I do for myself. So I'm always busy doing stuff for everybody else. My work.
Yeah.
My clients. Friends. My children. My siblings. So the couple of things I do for myself to take care of myself is I go to the spa. I spend at least 2 hours at the spa, minimum of 2 hours.
Amazing.
I hardly go out, but when I'm going out, I go all out. I get dressed up, do my makeup. I
love it.
Have fun, dance, enjoy myself. I spend at least 30 minutes every day having what I call my me time. My children know.
Wow.
After I've spent some time with them, when I say, oh, it's my me time, I've actually even started to introduce it to them as well. We call it quiet time. You also have your quiet time. I mean, it's so easy for us to just get busy, and we forget to actually rest. So
yeah.
So I spend 30 minutes. I just relax, chill. It could be anything. I just relax and unwind. I also, it's interesting. Catching up with my friends is also. It's fun for me. We're not talking about work, we're not talking about deliverables, we're just gisting. Yeah. So there are days, average Sunday evenings, I just drive to any of my friends' houses, we catch up, we eat, or we go out and, we go out for fine dining, just enjoy ourselves. We're always working hard, so
yeah, amazing.
So spa time.
I'm taking notes.
Massage, facials. Everybody has what's different. For some people, it's a salon time.
That's true.
Some people just enjoy getting their hair washed. Whatever it is that But for me personally, it's my spa time, my facials, my body massage. My me time, the non-negotiable me time. And it's interesting that even my diet, I feel like my diet is even self-care. Wow. Right. So I have my smoothies every day. With my several supplements. Most times I join a 5:30 a.m. aerobics class for exercise. So I get 1 hour of exercise for a minimum for at least 3 days in a week. I get good exercise in. Also makes me feel refreshed, relaxed and healthy as well. So yeah, so those are the efforts that I make.
Amazing. I've taken notes. Beautiful routine.
Thank you.
So, these are some things that I do, but I do them quite sporadically. So I love the fact that you have 30 minutes me time every single day. I'm definitely stealing that. I tend to have me time too, but I don't put any structure to it. I don't define it as me time, but I think it's important that we do, so that we can ensure we maximize that time and we make it happen every single day.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And the smoothies and the exercise. Girl. I'm learning. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you for sharing so many gems, so many snacks for us here on Soul Snacks. It's been a wonderful episode with you. Thank you so much, Shil. And we're going to end this with the Soul Snack high five.
Oh.
Wholesome snacks for the soul. Now you know that was share worthy. So why don't you share, like, comment, and subscribe to Oasis with BDO for more episodes of Soul Snacks.